Prince Harry has sparked a row over wading into politics with his recent UN speech. The Duke of Sussex warned of a global assault on democracy and freedom as he spoke at the UN General Assembly in New York earlier this month to mark Nelson Mandela International Day. Royal commentator Kristen Meinzer said Harry, who is living in California with Meghan Markle after quitting royal duties, was not subtle at all with his comments. Ms. Meinzer told Newsweek's The Royal Report podcast, "We all know that royals are not supposed to wade into politics, even though just last week on this show we were speaking about how William has been doing that lately. But Harry is doing it and not subtly at all. This is very overt what he is talking about. He is criticizing the US, what the government has been doing, pulling back rights on the people. That is not subtle at all. That is outright criticism of the US government." However, Newsweek's royal correspondent Jack Royston defended the Duke for his speech. Mr. Royston said, "I don't think he ever would have done this if he was a working member of the royal family. However, he is out now and so really the royal convention of him not engaging fully in politics doesn't really apply to Meghan and Harry anymore. They have every right to go and say whatever they like about political issues. Here he has taken on a ruling by the US Supreme Court, so this is about as controversial as it gets, and he's done it at the United Nations." In his speech, Harry warned of the dangers of climate change, the coronavirus pandemic, weaponizing lies and disinformation, the war in Ukraine and abortion laws in the US. He said, "This has been a painful year and a painful decade. We're living through a pandemic that continues to ravage communities in every corner of the globe, climate change wreaking havoc on our planet, with the most vulnerable suffering most of all, the few, weaponizing lies and disinformation at the expense of the many, and from the horrific war in Ukraine to the rolling back of constitutional rights here in the United States." Prince Harry made his views on US politics clear, ruling out a political run for himself but supporting any political interest Meghan may have, such as Roe v. Wade campaigning, a royal expert has told Express.co.uk. US President Joe Biden's sister, Valerie Biden Owens, told Good Morning Britain earlier this year she would welcome her, Meghan, to come in and join the Democratic Party, adding yes, perhaps, of course, she will make a good presidential candidate. Meghan then suggested she would be taking a trip to D.C. to protest the recent overturning of the landmark Roe v. Wade abortion ruling by the Supreme Court in the U.S. However, back in 2020, representatives for the Duchess rejected claims from a source close to Meghan who told Vanity Fair she would seriously consider running for president if the Duke and Duchess stepped back from royal life. But Prince Harry raised eyebrows with his heartfelt address at the United Nations, in which he touched on a number of political issues typically off-limits for the royal family. He denounced the rolling back of freedoms in the U.S., calling on the recent overturning of the 1973 Roe v. Wade ruling. He said, "From the horrific war in Ukraine to the rolling back of constitutional rights here in the United States, we are witnessing a global assault on democracy and freedom, the cause of Mandela's life." But Professor Pauline McLaren of Royal Holloway, University of London, said the speech certainly made his views on U.S. politics clear. She predicted the Duke's freedom to comment on contemporary politics likely showed the Duke and Duchess would not return to royal life. She added that Harry's tentative forays into voicing his political opinions were more supportive of Meghan's recent comments, rather than laying the foundation for any political future for himself. Professor McLaren told Express.co.uk, in his UN speech Harry has certainly made his views on US politics clear. "I think this is more about supporting the content of Meghan's recent Vogue interview with Gloria Steinem than indicating any political future for himself, except as her husband if she takes that direction. As a non-working royal, he is free to express his opinions, although I imagine it makes any future chance of him returning to royal duties even more remote."